Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. November 8th, 2017.
105 here on the great WRKO. Okay, my friends, we're going to discuss this in the next hour, but I want to get your take. We'll do some results later on. Today is actually the first anniversary of Trump's election victory. And so the Kuhner Country poll question of the day, sponsored by Bill Kelly Financial Services, 1 year after his election, are you satisfied with the president's performance? So those of you that especially voted for Trump, think how you felt a year ago to this day, the euphoria, the happiness, the shock that he defeated Hillary Clinton. Although I wasn't, I predicted he was going to win. But, you know, for many, it was an absolute shock. And so 1 year later, how do you assess his presidency when you compare it to a year ago? Are you satisfied or are you not satisfied? If you're satisfied, in other words, yeah, pretty much met my expectations, I'm happy with the way he's conducted himself, text the letter A to 680 680. If you feel dissatisfied or disappointed or it didn't live up to your expectations, text, in other words, no, text the letter B to 680 680. As always, you can vote online at WRKO.com. We are getting a lot of texts by people. There really should be an examination investigation. We're being flooded. I'm just going to give you one. This is from 978. Jeff, holding a sign in Ward 4 Salem, a Democratic official came out and asked for a Spanish speaker to come in and explain question 1, that's the question on Sanctuary City, to a voter. WTF. That's how they steal it. That's why they do not want illegals to be deported. That is the base of the power of the Democratic Party. So now the question is this. I have a major column up on WRKO.com, Kuhner's Corner. Sessions must go is the title of my column. Please, everybody, if you can, read it and pass it on to your friends, colleagues, and family members. Because the question now is this. What will Attorney General Jeff Sessions do? He is the top law enforcement officer in the country. He has vowed to crack down on sanctuary cities. He has vowed to go after illegal aliens, and in particular, to uphold the rule of law. And what you're now seeing increasingly in our cities, let's take Salem or Lynn, Massachusetts, Boston, Somerville, Cambridge, I can run down the whole list. All of these sanctuary cities, and California has now become an actual sanctuary state, where we are now seeing increasing lawlessness. And, in fact, I was joking around today. I walked in, and when you go in through the front, downstairs, with the security, you have to swipe your card, your identity card. I didn't bother to swipe it today. I just walked on by. And Brittany was joking, saying, what's the matter? You're not playing by the rules? I go, why should I play by the rules? If the Democrats don't play by the rules, if crooked Kim Driscoll doesn't play by the rules, if Elizabeth Warren doesn't play by the rules, if Chuck Schumer doesn't play, if Hillary Clinton doesn't play by the rules, why should I play by the rules? Why am I always the schmuck that's got to pay my taxes, work hard, and follow the rules? So what happens is that people begin to think, laws are arbitrary. And I figured, what the hell? If you can't beat them, join them. I'm going to become a Democrat. I'm going to start this. I don't like that law. I don't think I'm not going to follow that law. It's not compassionate. I don't think it's just. It's not, it's not. Hey, it's not respecting diversity, tolerance, compassion, respect for diversity. I don't like that law. I'm not going to follow that law. No, I'm not going to do it. Or that rule or whatever. This is literally the characteristic of a third world country, where there is no rule of law. There's the absence of the rule of law. There's the rule of men, as they call it historically, men and women. In other words, individuals decide what laws to follow and what laws not to follow. And so if Kim Driscoll and those that voted in Salem, as an example, Crooked Kim, want to turn Salem into a sanctuary city, which means we are not going to fully abide by the federal immigration laws that are on the books. We are not going to cooperate with ICE. We are not going to start deporting illegals, even though that means rapists, murderers, criminals can live in our midst and murder fellow citizens, rape fellow citizens, steal from fellow citizens, because we want to get votes. That's our power. Well, you don't have a country. You don't have a constitution, and you don't have the rule of law. So the question now is, where is Jeff Sessions? Because if Jeff Sessions was seriously doing his job, I'll tell you exactly, the news today would not be that Salem has gone sanctuary city, or Lynn is going to go sanctuary city, and other cities are now following. The story would be today, Salem is losing its federal funding. Lynn is losing its federal funding. Boston is losing its federal funding. I want you to think how the media in this state is rigged. We're supposed to have two major papers, in theory, the Boston Globe and the Boston Herald. One is a Democratic rag, the other is becoming a rhino rag. Both of them endorsed Macho Marty Walsh. Both of them, officially. The Boston Herald officially endorsed Macho Marty. The Globe officially endorsed Macho Marty. So here is a man who has turned Boston into a massive sanctuary city, who has in fact said he wants to bring 10,000 Syrian Muslim refugees into the city limits of Boston. Even though ISIS has said they will penetrate and infiltrate those ranks, he doesn't care. So much so, he has actually told illegals in Boston, you can sleep in the mayor's office. And right around the corner, I'm talking a couple hundred yards away, homeless veterans beg for a few dollars on the streets. And the two major papers endorse him? And the entire media establishment praises him as he sells his citizens down the river and openly defies and violates the law? It's not the rule of law. It's the rule of men. And so where is Attorney General Jeff Sessions? Same thing with Curtafoni. Joe Curtatone, that crook in Somerville. How come this guy is not being sent to prison for defying federal law and for violating the Constitution? He belongs in prison. And instead, the Attorney General is nowhere to be seen. In fact, I nickname him now Sleepy Sessions. He always looks like he's asleep now. Now, I want to say this because I want to be very, like I'm in the confessional. I like Jeff Sessions. I really do. Honest to God. I like Jeff Sessions. I love his Southern twang. I love the fact that he's a Christian gentleman. I know for a fact when he was in the Senate, he was a great senator. He was a principled conservative nationalist. So it's not personal. I like Jeff Sessions. I really do. But he's not up to the job. As I lay out in my column, he is either unwilling or unable to fulfill his duties as Attorney General. And for a second, leave aside now the sanctuary cities. He should be cracking down on Crooked Kim Driscoll, on Mr. Magoo, Tom McGee, on Macho Marty, on Joe Curtatone. He should be rounding them all up, and they should all be losing their federal funding. But even deeper than that, we are now confronted, and I'm choosing my words very carefully as an historian, as an American historian, I'm telling you, take this to the bank. We are now confronting the greatest political scandal in American history. As I lay out in my column, and it's irrefutable, the liberals cannot refute this column. That's why they want to drive me out of this city and, frankly, drive me out of this state. Hillary Clinton sold America out. Hillary Clinton sold our strategic uranium reserves to Vladimir Putin and the Russians. And the way they did it was through the Podesta group, through John and Tony Podesta, her campaign chairman, and her bagman, Tony, John's brother, with Paul Manafort. We know this now for a fact. Judas's price was 30 pieces of silver. Hillary's price was 145 million, I guess adjusted for inflation. They funneled 145 million into the Clinton Foundation. Whistleblowers are now admitting this. Bill Clinton was directly paid millions of dollars. And through bribery, influence peddling, racketeering, corruption, they bought our entire State Department lock, stock, and barrel. She is a traitor. She must go to jail. If we have any kind of rule of law in this country, she belongs behind bars. What she did was treason. Never mind the private email server. Never mind compromising classified top secret information. Never mind the destruction of over 30,000 emails. Never mind Benghazi. What's Benghazi? Never mind obstruction of justice. Never mind gross negligence. Never mind treason. Never mind gross abuse of power. Never mind approving the sale of uranium-1 to one of our arch enemies, Russia. I asked the question in my column. I ask it again, and I am daring the liberals, 617-266-6868. I'll even go one step further. Call right now. Answer me this question. I will resign on the spot. I will resign on the spot. And I will do all of you a favor. I will leave Boston. That's how confident I am of this position. How was it in America's national interests to sell 20% of our strategic uranium reserves to the Kremlin and to Vladimir Putin? How? How? By the way, they still have it. The sale was 7 years ago. They still control our uranium. In fact, according to the New York Times, among others, they have lost control over our uranium. And in fact, it's been exported. Yellow cake has been exported to God knows where, maybe even into North Korea or to Iran. In other words, to countries that want to blow us up, nuke us, kill millions of Americans, potentially with our own uranium. And so I'm asking the liberals a very simple question. This was a seminal decision of Hillary Clinton and the Obama regime. How was it in America's national interests to sell the Russians control over 20% of our strategic uranium reserves? You can't answer it. You can't. And she did it for one reason only. 145 million. And Jeff Sessions is not going to investigate this. The greatest act of treason, the greatest betrayal, the greatest sellout in American history. And this guy won't even, as I said in my column, at a minimum, appoint a special counsel. And by the way, who covered it up for Hillary? These are facts. Eric Holder. He knew, covered it up. Loretta Lynch, she knew, covered it up. Robert Mueller knew and covered it up. In fact, he voted to approve the sale. Rod Rosenstein knew and voted to approve the sale. In other words, if you go after Hillary on Uranium One, you bring them all down, including, by the way, Barack Hussein Obama. And so I don't know if Jeff Sessions is compromised. I don't want to impugn this man's character. What I can tell you objectively, looking at the facts, he doesn't have the stomach, the stones, the spine, the guts, the courage to go after these gangsters and drain the swamp. He needs to go. The sooner, the better. Axel, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Go ahead, Axel.
Hi, Jeff. How are you doing today?
I've been better, Axel, but, I feel sorry for people like you who live in Salem.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. I'm a policeman. I'm the vice president of the Salem Police Patrolmen's Association. I just want the people of Salem, the good people of Salem, and all the neighborhoods of Salem, and the area I work, which is the Hispanic area. I've worked there for 33 years. I just want them to know we didn't back the sanctuary city because we are city thing because we are sworn to do our jobs. And it came from the mayor. The mayor wanted it. The city councils wanted it. That's fine. But chief backed it. That's her prerogative too. But we told them that we didn't back it. That's my union, and I'm the vice president of the union, and I'm speaking for my union. And my guys feel the same way. We're going to do our jobs no matter what, and we're taking care of everybody in the city of Salem like we did for the 33 years I've worked there. We don't need the sanctuary city thing because we've done our jobs for 33 years. It's just divided the city and divided everybody in people are name calling and all that stuff. It's ridiculous. But I just want everybody to know in the city of Salem, and Lynn, everywhere else, that the police department, the union did not back this thing.
Axel, I'm just curious, as somebody who's a long-time resident of Salem, your father was a police officer. As you said, 33 years you've been on the force in Salem. I'm just thinking, how do you react to the fact that Kim Driscoll and her cronies, her minions, were calling people like you, just because you oppose sanctuary cities, white supremacists, racists, members of the Ku Klux Klan? I'm just curious. What's your reaction to that?
That's not what the city is. That's not what the city of Salem is about. This city has changed so much, and I'm 63 years old now. It's changed so much in the 63 years I've lived here. And I think it's changed for the worse. That's my opinion. Everybody can have an opinion, but people don't want you to have an opinion if it isn't the same opinion as theirs. I've done a lot for the city of Salem. My guys have done a lot for the city of Salem. The guys in my union, and we've done a lot of stuff and done the right thing the whole time. And now they make our jobs harder. We got a homeless population that's out of control. We got a heroin situation that's out of control. And then we got the tourists coming from all over the world. We're trying to keep everything going. The calls we're taking now, Jeff, if people knew what the hell was going on, they would turn around and wouldn't believe it. They don't know what's going on. My father used to say this: if people knew what happened in this city, after midnight, their heads would spin. So this is what people don't know everything. Everything doesn't hit the newspaper. And everything don't hit the newspaper in Salem, and that's wrong too.
Axel, I know a really good real estate agent. Do you need me to make a couple calls for you and have her give you a call?
No, I guarantee you, I'm not leaving here. I got a beautiful house. I worked hard for it. I'm going to keep doing my job as long as I'm working. I'm not going to be around much longer. I'm retiring pretty soon. But I'll tell you right now, I'm not letting my hard work and hard work of all my men that I work with go for naught because of a few people in the city of Salem.
Axel, God bless you, my friend. Stay safe, okay?
Yeah.
Take care, buddy.
I will, buddy.
Take care.
I'll be out there tomorrow night. Bye-bye.
617-266-6868. More with your calls. For the latest news update, let's go to Evan Heidenrich. 136 here on the great WRKO. You know, my friends, I've been talking about the duopoly here in the media, in the People's Republic of Massachusetts, how both the Boston Globe, which is a liberal rag, and the Boston Herald, which is really now becoming a rhino rag. There's still some good columnists, obviously. Howie, very witty. I like Howie. And others, a few others. But for the most part, it's now really become a rhino rag. How they both endorsed Macho Marty Walsh, officially endorsed him. Let me give a special plug to the Boston Broadside. It's a great conservative publication. It's a monthly. Hopefully it'll become a weekly soon. And they do phenomenal, hard-hitting investigative reporting. You really want the truth about what's going on in Massachusetts? That's the publication. And the Boston Broadside is so feared by the likes of crooked Kim Driscoll, listen to this, that over the last couple of months, as we were exposing her and all of her corruption and the misuse of funds and her horrible record and how she's driven Salem into the ground, all of a sudden, Boston Broadside, issues of the Broadside, you couldn't find them in news boxes all across Salem. Suddenly, they're gone. They're gone. So nobody else is saying it. I'm going to say it. Kim's commandos, she sent out her thugs, and they went out there and they made sure they stole all of those Boston Broadsides so the people of Salem could not know what's really going on, because that's how they roll. And to me, another issue that nobody's touching is, where the hell was Charlie Faker? Where the hell was Governor Chicken Charlie? Because I'll tell you this, when it came to Sanctuary City in Salem, he was nowhere. When it came to backing Paul Prevey against crooked Kim Driscoll, he was nowhere. When it came to backing Judy Kennedy against that ultra moonbat, Mr. Magoo, Tom McGee, Charlie Faker was nowhere to be seen. And as one texter put it, this is from 617, Jeff, Baker did nothing. Sanctuary Salem, Sanctuary Lynn, towns both adjacent to Swampscott. Interesting, because Charlie Faker is from lives in Swampscott. Interesting. Interesting. Carol in Bridgewater. Go ahead, Carol.
I just want to know, how is this not voter in election fraud? Isn't this a tactic of fear-mongering to strong-arm to persuade and coerce the voter, especially the illegal who shouldn't be voting to vote for the Democrat? Where are the poll watchers for each candidate to challenge whether the person is legally supposed to vote? On the basis of machines not working to take the ballot, shouldn't there be another election once they are fixed? They should verify every vote that was cast. And now, this is why I believe we need voter ID, and what can we do to get a petition or something as a ballot initiative to give that to us to vote on.
Carol, you touched on something really profound, and thank you for that call. I am getting texts from poll watchers who work the polls, as an example, in Salem. However, I'm getting a lot from Lynn, Somerville, Malden. I'm getting them now from all over. They say, Jeff, instructions were in Spanish, and there were Spanish translators everywhere, to the point that one poll watcher said to me in Salem that one person didn't want to go with, I guess, the provided Spanish translator. The Democrats wanted this person who's voting to go with another Spanish translator. And I'm asking myself, whoa. Is this the United States of Mexico? Or is this the United States of America? Because I'll tell you this. If you and I uprooted and ended up going to Mexico, you think we could vote in a Mexican election asking for English translators? They'd say, hey, Pablo Espanol. This is in Mexico, baby. You got to speak Spanish. If you can't understand English enough to vote, then you shouldn't be voting. Period. Full stop. Stop all the signs in Spanish at the election booth. Stop with the Spanish translators. Stop with all of it. Because remember, in theory, I became a naturalized American. I know. You're supposed to be able to be proficient in English, both read and write, to get citizenship in the first place. So it's obvious. They're providing Spanish translators and putting up all the instructions in Spanish at the voting booths because they're catering to illegals, to non-citizens. And so you want to clean up the election rolls, make elections more honest? Very simple. One language, Anglais, English. The instructions are in English, not one translator. The ballots are in English. You don't understand it, you're not ready to vote. You're not an American. Get out. 617-266-6868 is the number. Brittany, I know you want to weigh in on Charlie Faker.
Charlie doesn't care. He's got a state trooper sitting outside of his house in Swampscott. He's nice, sitting nice and cozy. He's not like us. He's not like the regular people here. It's quite obvious. I think he's endorsed a couple of Democrat mayor races. He has nothing but wonderful things to say about Kim Driscoll. So, Charlie Baker says he's a Republican, but I don't know about that.
Well, I'll tell you this. In Salem, he sold you guys down the river. I mean, he was nowhere to be seen in Salem.
I know.
He did 0 for Paul Prevey, 0 for Judy Kennedy, 0 for Sanctuary City. He was gone. He was AWOL. He's like Jeff Sessions.
I know,
He's
exactly.
AWOL. He's another one.
You're right.
Another one.
You're right.
Arthur in Chestnut Hill. Go ahead, Arthur.
Well, they didn't take any chances this time, Jeff. They didn't even make the elections close. They didn't even make it. They didn't even, it's just that we've lost control of our country. I don't know if Jeff Sessions has appointed a Republican U.S. attorney in Massachusetts, but this calls for a federal investigation. And Trump, doesn't have his priorities straight. It's not straight. One thing, when Bobby Kennedy was going after the mob, he got in there 1,000 new agents, and to go after him. And that's what we need. That's what we should have been done a long time ago. There's no time for state dinners or anything. There's too much to clean up in this country, or we're not going to get it back. And like I said the other day, we needed to get. As soon as I heard that great guy who ran for mayor in Salem, I wish that guy would be governor. The guy was tremendous. He was what an American should be. He was what an American who's running for office should be. And we didn't get out there and help him. They stole it, and they stole it all over the unions and the machine, and we're up against it. And what are we going to do about it? We've got to go there, and we have to turn around and protest and let the word go out.
Arthur, very well said. Thank you for that call. Look, Paul Prevey, this is what I found really the most disgusting thing of all, okay? Let me put my cards on the table. They smeared Axel, who was a good man. They smeared Brittany. So Driscoll's people, because she was the one that first wrote the column exposing the Sanctuary City ordinance. And so they went after her. They went after her on Facebook, on social media. They called her a white supremacist. They called her KKK. They called her a racist. They called her a bigot. They wanted Brittany's column to come down. They were lobbying here at the station to get them to drop the column. Like, what are you so afraid of? If Sanctuary City is such a good thing, what are you so afraid of? So they literally lobbied the station to have them drop Brittany's column from our website. Then they went after Paul Prevey. And I had him on yesterday, 1:35. Most of you heard the interview. So I want you to think about this. Here is an independent guy. He didn't even run as a Republican. You want to know his politics? He's a centrist. He's not conservative, but he's certainly not a moonbat. He's an honest government guy. clean out the corruption. Let's improve the schools. Let's maybe hold the line on taxes. No sanctuary cities. Let's clean up the streets. And let's put Salem first. That's it. He's a gay guy who's married to a Mexican immigrant. Not that I care who you marry, what you do is your business. But I'm just saying he's a gay guy who's married to a Mexican immigrant. And they turned him into the freaking KKK. That's all they ran for months. KKK, white supremacist, racist, bigot. So now a centrist gay guy who's married to a Mexican immigrant is now a racist and a bigot, according to crooked Kim Driscoll and the Democrats in Salem and the Democrats in Massachusetts. And you would think, remember, the Boston Globe and the Boston Herald, what are they all big on? The Republicans have to become moderate, centrist, down the middle, right? That's their big thing. They say it again and again. Here he is. Okay, he wasn't a Republican, he was an independent. Here he is. Here he is. Just an honest, clean government guy. That's it. Take care of the streets, take care of the schools, take care of the neighborhoods and the communities. That's it. And don't steal money. That's it. And obey the law. Follow the law. That's it. That's Paul Prevey. Okay? Doesn't throw his homosexuality in everybody's face. He's just a gay guy, married to a Mexican immigrant, former city councilor, loves his city, loves his neighborhood, loves his community. Where was Charlie Faker? I mean, he says he wants to rebrand the Republican Party. How come he didn't come out there and help a clearly incredibly qualified man to take down one of the most corrupt, vicious, crooked, criminal Democrats in this state? Because he's too busy cutting deals with Porky Pig, Bob DeLeo, and Stan Rosenberg. That's why. And he thinks he's going to get our vote when he's up for re-election? No way. If I have to go third party, I will. But I'm not voting for Charlie Faker. Fool me once. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on me. Jim, you're up next. Go ahead, Jim.
I wonder how many people could take one day off and march on the State House. I wonder if we could pull something off like that. Anyway, my question is this, Jeff. I'm kind of confused. Why do all these people want to come to this country when they think it's so great, but when they get here, they try to change the rules and the regulations to go the way they want? Why don't they go back to their own place where they came from and change the governments that they don't like there, like we did in the beginning, pushing the British and everything out of here from way from the beginning? You know, it just makes me confused, saying why should we protect these people and things like that? They're changing all the rules and regulations that we have fought for and have rules on the books, but apparently the books and the rules don't matter to them. That makes me confused.
Well, Jim, look, I'm going to be and thank you. Look, I'm going to be like I'm in the confessional. You want to know what's happening in America today? This is what's happening in America today. Okay? This is the God's truth, as the founding fathers used to say among themselves. The Lord's truth. Okay? We used to have immigrants that came to this country, the Irish, the Italians, the Jews, the Poles, to be honest with you, the Croatians, the Serbs, the Chinese, the Asian, whatever, the Japanese, the Vietnamese, I can run down the whole list. Haitians, phenomenal immigrants, Nigerians, people from the Caribbean who wanted to work. They wanted to work. They didn't want to take a welfare check. They came to give, to contribute, to make something of themselves, make something of their families, and help make America the greatest country in the world. Those were the immigrants that we used to have. Now everything has changed. You have the most beneficial welfare system in the world, combined with massive open borders. You're bringing in many ways, uneducated, low-skilled illegal immigrants. So look at it from you're born in Nicaragua. Not to pick on Nicaraguans. I'm sure there's some very good people. But you come, no education, very low skill, can't speak the language. You're not going to take free health care if it's offered in front of you? That's what they do back in the old country. You're not going to take an EBT card? You're not going to take a welfare check? You're not going to take free housing, Section 8? You're not going to put your kids, say, in a Salem or a Lynn or a whatever. Pick your Peabody or Saugus or, Lawrence, whatever. Or Chelsea. You're not going to put them in school for free? So you're not going to take $40,000, $50,000 a year in government benefits, food stamps, and then work under the table? Construction? Or whatever, waiter, waitress, and a chef, a restaurant, whatever. So you get cash under the table, not taxed, and you get $50,000 a year in government benefits. You're crazy. I mean, you look at it from their point of view, they go, the dumb gringo, if he's that stupid, let him be that stupid. So in the end, I don't really blame them. I blame us. I blame us. Because we had the greatest country in the world. When Reagan left office, we won the Cold War. We had peace and prosperity. America bestrode the world like a colossus. And all he did was, the old man gave us the keys to the kingdom and said, don't blow it. And what did we do? We blew it right down the toilet. 158 here on the great WRKO. Okay, you can text us 680-680. This is from 978. Jeff, in Ward 4 in Salem, the new counselor is a Salem firefighter. When a few of the firefighters went to vote in Ward 4, there were complaints from the Driscoll people. Well, of course. You can't vote against her. You've got to vote for her.
In the meantime, while they were complaining about the firefighters voting, they were chasing after cars, flagging them down to put in the write-in.
Unbelievable. And
the police officers that were working had to tell them 2-3 times to stop doing that.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is from 978. Jeff, from what I hear from workers at City Hall in Salem, Kim Driscoll, Kimmy throws fits in her office when she doesn't get her way. Also, I've heard from many people working in the school system that her daughter told the high school's principal that her mother would have his job. So yeah, Kimmy seems like a great person. I'm so happy she's the mayor. She has a cult-like following. It's disturbing. Lucy well, you know what? I don't want to rush it. When I get to Lucy right after this break, okay, I'm going to take more of your calls, and it is now the 1-year anniversary of Trump's stunning election victory. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Or are you disappointed in Trump's performance? We're going to have that discussion and debate next. Don't touch that dial.
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 2 o'clock.